Interesting thing about Abby is that she is a former Planned Parenthood director who now heads up the only ministry in the country that helps abortion workers leave their jobs and find new, life affirming ones. And Abby's also the founder of Pro Love Ministries, a network of ministries to help fill gaps in the pro life movement. Abby, thank you for joining us this hour. And I've got to ask you, you once worked as a Planned Parenthood member. What was that experience like, and what caused you to have the transition over to helping people keep their babies?
Sure. So, thank you so much for having me. I got to work for Planned Parenthood. I started working for them as a college student, not really knowing much about abortion either way, but got involved believing that I was really helping women and kind of believing that Planned Parenthood lie, that Planned Parenthood is here to help women, particularly low income women. And so got involved as a college kid and just started rising up the ranks and had been there for quite some time and was called in to assist with an ultrasound guided abortion procedure. I am not a doctor or medically credentialed actually in any way, but was called in to assist as the director. And that was the first time I'd actually ever seen an abortion in real time in that way. And I watched as a 13-week-old baby fought and struggled for his life. Um, and I knew then that there was life in the womb, there was humanity in the womb. And I knew that if those two things were true, then I knew I was on the wrong side of this abortion debate. So I ended up leaving. And ever since then, I've been really trying to not only expose the horrors of abortion, but also trying to bring healing to those who have been affected by abortion in one way or another.
Wow, Abby, that's it's actually a remarkable experience that you went through to realize that a child in the womb was actually fighting for life. The American public, as you know, with the Supreme Court decision and the reversal of Roe versus Wade, the American public is at odds about this on the pro side, pro life side, and the pro choice side. But who's on the side of human life? And as you mentioned, the humanity of the unborn. Uh, who's on their side?
Yeah. I believe it is us. I believe it is those of us who line up and say that we are here not believing that the rights of the child in the womb supersede the rights of the mother. Um, we are here in the pro life movement to say that the woman and her preborn child have equal dignity. They have equal worth. And what you'll find in the abortion movement is that they are out here saying that the rights of the woman supersede the rights of the child. And we're just trying to bring some balance back by saying, look, we want to support women and their children. We are the ones opening maternity homes, pregnancy care centers, support lines, case management hotlines, programs. We're the ones that are providing that support. You'll never walk into an abortion center and see stacks of diapers or referrals for maternity centers. They provide one option for women who are in crisis, and that is to kill their child. And that is not real help, and it is certainly not health care.
You know, the time that you were there and you realized that you were not in the right field with Planned Parenthood, the young lady who had that abortion, when she left, did anyone provide counseling for her? Did anyone provide healing for her?
No. The
So,
only thing that these women receive after they have killed their child, they receive a brown paper bag with a package of birth control. That's it. There's no referrals for healing services because that would cause the abortion industry then to have to admit that a woman may actually have emotional repercussions after an abortion. So they're not willing to give you any sort of emotional referrals, any sort of counseling referrals. They are they're going to give you a brown paper bag with some information on when you should call the emergency room if you have an infection, and they're going to give you one cycle of birth control pills, and that's all.
That's it. Nothing for someone who might encounter post traumatic stress syndrome or
Mm.
some sort of, you know, unfortunately, some sort of guilt that they might feel when they leave that place. Nothing.
Nothing, nothing. In fact, one time I remember a woman came back and she was devastated after her abortion. And I remember my supervisor saying, well, something must have been wrong with her when she walked in the first time. And she said, it must just be hormones. And I remember that so distinctly now that I'm away from the abortion industry. There was nothing wrong with her. There was nothing wrong with her. She felt guilt. She felt traumatized because her child had been ripped out of her womb. Of course, there was something wrong. Of course, she felt remorse. Of course, she felt guilt. The problem was that she went back to the place that had taken the life of her child. The problem was that she went back to the place that abused her, that had traumatized her in the first place. She should have gone to a pregnancy resource center. They were the ones that could have helped her. Or maybe her local church, her local pastor, they could have helped her. Planned Parenthood, the abortion industry, they have no concern, they have no care, they have no sympathy. All they did was laugh behind her back and send her out with no resources.
So, Abby, you provide healing through your ministry, Pro Love Ministries. Talk to me about that and what you are able to give women who, one, may be considering an abortion, and secondly, those who have already gone through an abortion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we provide comprehensive case management for women who are in a crisis, or maybe they are a single parent. Maybe they've already had their child and now they're struggling, and they just need some extra support. We believe that we need to be pro life for the whole life. And so, even after that woman has had her child, we want to be able to support her and say, hey, look, we're going to walk along this journey with you. And so, that's what we're able to do with our ministry. And so, a woman can text us, she can call us, she can go through our website, loveline.com, and we want to reach out with her, to her. We want to journey with her. We want to accompany her. We believe in the gospel of accompaniment. And so we want to accompany her on this journey that can be challenging, it can be hard. But we believe that women are up for the challenge, that with God, all things are possible. Um, and then for those women that have chosen abortion, we believe that God's redemption covers all sin, that His grace covers all sin. And so we want to walk with those women too, and we want to help them find healing.
What's the history of Planned Parenthood in terms of its founding member and what was her intent?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This is something that Planned Parenthood really would prefer not to recognize, but they've kind of been forced to over the past few years. Planned Parenthood was founded by a woman named Margaret Sanger in 1916. The first facility she founded was called the American Birth Control League. She later changed the name to Planned Parenthood. Margaret Sanger was a woman who believed in the practice of eugenics. Um, she believed in the work of Adolf Hitler. She founded Planned Parenthood with the core mission of eradicating the minority population through widespread access to contraception and abortion. Margaret Sanger said things like, quote, The most merciful thing we can do to a member of a large family is to kill it. She also said that, quote, Negroes are human weeds in the human garden and need to be exterminated. Margaret Sanger was a woman who would be absolutely joyous over some of the statistics that we see today, particularly in places like New York, where there are more African American babies being killed than by abortion than born alive. And we see that in other places as well. Um, and every year, for many years, for decades, Planned Parenthood celebrated their founder by giving out awards in her name, uh, naming buildings after her. It was only a couple of years ago that Planned Parenthood actually came forward in an article and acknowledged their racist roots by saying, well, we guess our founder was a little bit racist, which I'm not really sure what a little bit racist means. But they said she was a little bit racist because everybody was kind of racist at the time. Um, but we, as the pro life movement, had been shouting that for decades, and they had been calling us liars. But when you look at Planned Parenthood and their business model, 79% of Planned Parenthood abortion facilities are located in what we call super minority neighborhoods. That means that over 85% of the population in those neighborhoods are minority populations. That should tell you all you need to know about Planned Parenthood and their goals for the minority communities.
You make such an incredible statement about something that everyone should know, and yet so few do, particularly those in predominantly minority communities, low income communities, where they see a Planned Parenthood sign and they believe they're going in there to get services that will help them. Now, to be fair, Planned Parenthood does provide some counseling before pregnancy even takes place, like you said, contraception, things of that nature, and some other needs. But the bottom line is how it was founded by Margaret Sanger, and just her diabolical view of African Americans and other minorities throughout this country. It's just stunning to me that Planned Parenthood has continued to actually try to hide that moment and that movement. Your message to America, not only from a pro-life stance, but as a woman who once worked for Planned Parenthood and understands the value of humanity in the womb and outside of the womb, regardless of the color of skin. What's your message to America?
I think we're at a really critical time in America right now where we need to really get back to kind of basic education. And that starts really in the home with our own children. I am a mother of 8 children, 8 really beautiful blessings in my home, in my care. And, in our family, we talk very, very bluntly about human life and the value of human life. But we're also very careful as parents to protect our children. We are the gatekeepers of our children's minds, their hearts, their souls. And so protecting our children from social media, outside influences, that's very important. I have a 17-year-old daughter. She's never had a social media account. She doesn't have a cell phone with internet access. They don't have TVs in their bedrooms. We are those parents, right? But I firmly believe their children will be better off because of it. So I think parents need to wake up. This is a wake-up call for parents in regards to our children. Um, and also, we, as Christians, we need to be boldly proclaiming the truth of Jesus Christ. Not their truth or your truth or her truth, but the truth with a capital T. And that includes the gospel of life, that all life is valuable, not just life in the womb, but life outside the womb as well.
Thank you, Abby Johnson.